Zenless's 2.0 update has been nothing short of fun for me. It's been nice getting to experience the new areas, meet new characters, and truly immerse myself within Feilun Heights. That being said, not all of it is sunshine and rainbows for me. What is it ever? You never like anything! My biggest criticism towards 2.0 is how much the devs are trying to make the game like the other Hoyo titles. And the most prominent feature that makes me think like this are these open zone sections in the hollow here. These essentially replicate the open zone areas in HSR, which I don't like. ZZZ had to go through many different changes to get to where it is right now, but I don't think satisfying the Star Rail players who can't even 6-star Deadly Assault by making the game more familiar to them is the way to go. Seriously, the only difference between ZZZ and Star Rail now outside of the gameplay is the transitions between the battles. They've gone so far as to even add events that take as long as the average HSR side quest too. I don't know how you can make a Tycoon game even more boring, but they somehow managed to do it here. All in all, I have my issues with 2.0, but it was still a fun experience nonetheless. And with this new update came my favorite character in ZZZ, that being Pan Yinhu. No, I'm not cheating on Ben, this is a 2 cake scenario here. You said I still have to pay Ben his child support? Oh, that's crazy. Would you look at the time? Welcome back to another episode of my series where I talk about ZZZ characters and whether they're peak cinema or the worst thing imaginable. Today I'm gonna try and keep it in my pants while I talk about this panda. And with the release of this video, I'll finally be done with defense agents in this game and can actually start talking about the good in ZZZ. Look, I even got a list prepared here.
It's blank.
Yinhu's got some good about him and some bad about him, and I'm going to try and cover all of it today. And as one of the 3 people who Max invested into him, I fear as though my opinion will be the best and the only one to listen to. Didn't you say that Caesar's shield scales off a defense percent instead of impact? Oh, come on, it was one mistake! Before we get started, be sure to leave a like on the video and consider subscribing afterwards. Without further ado, let's get into it. Pan Yinhu is quite possibly the best thing we're going to get out of the defense class for a while. Oh my god, stop typing already. I don't care about Caesar, and everything I said in my video still stands true to this day. And if I see any more of those jack of all trades comments here, I'm gonna hard code your game to only give you Nekomatas. So yeah, like I said, Pan Yinhu is and will always be the best we're going to get out of the defense class. But it's not because he's a good tank that actually keeps the team alive by duking it out with the enemy and shielding teammates. It's because he's Astra, but if she was reincarnated into a fat panda who's broke and loves to penny pinch whenever. Wait, why are you guys looking at me? Oh, come on, I'm not an actual panda, I'm a red panda, completely different. It's all in the face and tail. Yinhu's strength comes from the fact that he's not even an actual tank by the game's standards, if you could even say that the game knows what a tank is to begin with. Instead, he boasts a lot of support-like qualities, even going so far as to have the ability to quick assist, which only one other defense agent here can do. This makes me think, actually, no, I'm 1000% certain that the only reason why he has the defense tag is because he's a big fat bear thyron just like Ben. And the fact that he is a defense agent with support-like abilities proves my point even more that tanks have no identity within this game. What do you mean the best character in this class is only the best because he's essentially a different class? Also, to those of you that don't think that I'm being serious when I call him Astra 2, provides an incredible buff for Rupture agents, only wants to EX skill and then swap out, and his ultimate heals the entire team. The only difference between the two is that you actually have to swap to him a lot more than you have to with Astra, but he essentially exists to be an Astra for Yishuan and future Rupture agents. This is completely fine by me, seeing as he requires a little bit more thought put behind him as compared to most supports in the game. The team that I run, being Yishuan, Yinhu, and Pulchra, requires me to be mindful that Pan is always in the middle so that Pulchra back assists to him, making sure Yishuan gets Meridian Flow every time I evasive assist. This is good. It's a lot better than just cycling between support and stunner or anomaly and just pressing EX skill and swapping. There's also a generous amount of time for Meridian Flow's buff, and by the time it's nearly out, I'll have already gotten it back up through this specific sequence here. So there's at least some input behind playing Yinhu effectively compared to other supports. A lot more than Astra, that's for sure. But outside of all of this, I'm going to talk about each part of his kit that's significant enough and try to critique all of it. Alright, first thing I don't like about him. This additional ability. No, not the actual effect. The requirement for it to come online. I think Zenless needs to abolish the faction requirement entirely so that way certain characters can see usages on more teams. A lot of them are completely redundant too. Everyone in the Sons of Catalan has a defensive assist instead of Pulchra, so why does Caesar need the faction requirement here? Actually, no, that's a bad example. Lore-wise, it would make sense for Caesar to get this AA off of faction, but I don't understand why literally every other Sons of Caledon unit has faction requirement as well. Oh, it's because they all know each other. I know that. I just think that Zenless should do away with locking characters behind factions and just have faction synergy already pre-built into the game. They added rupture support for some characters. Why can't they do this for every class that isn't attacker or anomaly? Going back to Pan, because of this AA, he's pretty much glued to Yixuan and Fufu until the game gives us more rupture units. And I'm willing to bet $1,000 that Orpheus is going to be our next one. You can pay up through coffee, by the way. I'm not complaining necessarily because I love playing Yixuan, and thankfully my issues with this will be circumvented by the time there's a bunch more rupture agents. So I'm just gonna have to sit here and be a little patient. Another problem I have with him is the fact that his passive is not his additional ability and vice versa. What do you mean the general debuff is tied to his synergy and not the class-specific buffing synergy move? And yes, Meridian Flow is amazing and is what fundamentally makes Yinhu Yinhu, but he could have been another Nicole in my opinion. Imagine how cool it would be to just run Yinhu and just have a debuff that increases susceptibility to damage for free like that. I'd actually be able to run DPS Ben with Yinhu without having to pull for freaking Fufu. However, I'm not that upset that his passive is like this, and this can definitely stay. Oh, and I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but for some reason Yinhu just takes forever to go back off field for some reason. Like, there's a noticeable delay when it comes to him specifically going back in line, and it messed me up a lot when the Beetle boss first came around. I've gotten considerably better at the game since then, and now know every little detail about him, so this is just another moot point, but I figured I'd mention this anyway, just in case people haven't noticed. Moving on to his weapon, it's actually really good. It just sucks that it's on a defense unit and not on an attacker or anomaly unit. And I suppose the last thing that I don't really like about him is the fact that he's a defense agent that's basically a support. He doesn't have any of the qualities that defense agents normally have outside of the one assist point parry. He can't give shields and he doesn't restore additional assist points with his ult, which is why I don't like Protopunk on him. I don't care what people say, putting Protopunk on a character that can't restore additional assist points is dumb. He will always do 100% better on Astral, considering that he is a tank with a quick assist. So I'd see no reason not to run him on that unless you're using Astra as well. But you shouldn't be using her since we hate her anyway. But yeah, overall, Yinhu is fine. I just have a lot of nitpicks with the things that he does and how he was designed and all. He's still probably going to be the best defense agent we get for a while, which sucks because he only has that title due to him being a support in disguise. Here's hoping that either Seed or whatever big-bodied Thyron they'll add next will actually give us a decent defense unit that actually understands the fundamentals of defense. And that's it for the video. We are finally out of this Technomaly crisis of a series, and I can actually start talking about other stuff. Big shout out to all of my channel members on screen here. Members not only get access to my videos a day early, but also exclusive access to my Discord and the members only channel in there, and priority when it comes to account reviews. And if you want to support me directly, consider buying me a coffee. It helps keep me well fed and gives me motivation to continue doing these videos. With that being said, thank you so much for watching the video. As always, I've got to get started on the next one. I'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.